All right. Okay. So this is my art project. Okay. So we're asking that you guys are gonna try to like model and look after this as to what you did. I will say, unlike my authoritarian regime project, I did a lot of the research before I started this, so you guys didn't have to sit there and watch me do this. Okay. But this is what we essentially want you to do. So one thing that we want to make sure that you guys do is that every single slide should have your painting on it. There's a couple different ways that you can do this. The way that I'm going to do it, and I would recommend that you guys can do this as well, is if you right click on here, you can go change background. Okay, click change background. Okay, choose image. All right, once you go here, you can go Google search. All right, and then you should be able to find almost everything that we're going to be doing is very Googleable. You can download it, but I'm just going to put, because I'm going to do Washington crossing the Delaware. Meme. It'd be interesting. I'm curious what that is. I'm gonna pick this one. Done. Okay. All right. And now I have this set to go. That is my background. Okay. So I'm gonna change this to Washington crossing the Delaware. The date it was created. Misspelled Delaware apparently. The data was created, and I am using multiple sources, but I have the Met pulled up as one of my sources. So this is actually from Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon was George Washington's historical home. 1851. Okay, so 1851. And then the artist is Emmanuel Lutz. I'm just going to copy and paste that because I don't trust myself trying to spell his name. Emmanuel Lutz. Paste. And I actually kind of like that this is that background there that's provided because it makes it a little bit easier to see. So I'm just going to do a highlight color, and I'm going to give it like a, I don't know, is that a beige? All right, that's not what I wanted to do at all. Undo. And I'm looking for the highlight. Beige. That's like an orange. It's whatever, guys. Actually, I don't like that at all. So I'm gonna give it like a, make this like a, yeah, that's fine. And then I'm gonna make this transparent, and then that's easy to see. All right. You get the point. Okay, so you can do the same thing here. Okay, once you do it, if you just actually, if you want to, there's another way that you can do this too. So I'm gonna take mine from Wiki Commons. Okay, copy image. That's the thing that we're sharing with you. And you can also do it like this. Paste. Paste is Control V. See if it does it work. See no? See no? All right, let's try this again. Copy image. Paste. That doesn't work. We can go save image as. Waiting for the computer. Got the spinning wheel of death. Yep, Washington crossing Delaware. Save images. And then once I have that saved, I just go insert, image, upload from computer. I'm going to look at my downloads. Open. And presto changeo. We got it. All right, so if you don't want to set it as background, that again is the option. All right, for this first one, what we're looking for you guys to do is just give 2 to 3 sentences that are talking about the historical context. Okay, so again, I'm taking my information from multiple sources. One that I have here is Khan Academy. So the actual time that this is depicting is different than the subject of it. So I'm gonna start by depicting what the subject is. Okay, so I'm gonna use so Lutz. Let's see how I spell his name again. L-E-U-L-E. Leutze, depicts George Washington crossing the Delaware River. Again, I spelled Delaware wrong. Crossing the Delaware River, preparing for an attack against German mercenaries at Trenton, New Jersey. Trenton, I'm just going to put at Trenton. It's not Trenton Allen Park. Mercenaries at Trenton on December 25th, 1776. Okay, this is a turning point in the Revolutionary War. I'm not going to go into that much detail here though, because I also want to provide the historical context that Loyd is creating this. Okay, so that's what's going on, and this is a pivotal moment in the American Revolution. This is ultimately this is done takes the Hessians by surprise. They had captured over 1,000 troops at Trenton. I think they only killed 23 because they were taken by surprise because they were partying the night before. It's a great story. Look into it. But I want to talk about the historical context that it was created too. All right. Okay. So Loyd was a German-born American immigrant studying in Germany. And then I'm gonna have to. I'll change the size when I get done. He studying in Germany. At the time he created this artwork, Germany was just was in the midst of their first attempts of unification, and the United States was in the tumultuous lead up to the American Civil War. All right, now that's a lot. Okay, but it's only 2 sentences, and it's pretty important. Okay, both of those things are pretty important. All right, so I make that small enough, and that all fits there. Okay, and that's totally fine. If this was the background, which again you can choose to do that, make that the background, then you just have to change the color so that it's all readable. All right. Okay, so that is this page. This is my historical context. Okay. The next thing that that Mr. Bank and I want you to do is we want you to talk about, give a little bit of an analysis of this. And I chose this one for a reason. And for this one, I'm gonna choose to make this. You know what? I'll just do this. Let's copy and paste it. Okay. All right. And there's a few really interesting things about this piece of art. Okay. One, and this is something that I really appreciated about this, is that Loyd is really trying to kind of depict the combination of efforts from different groups of people during this time. If you look really closely at this, and I'm actually going to put this into present mode so we can see it a little bit better. All right, we see a diversity of people that are involved in this task. Okay, so if we look at the bow of the, if we look at the, I messed this up, the stern of the boat, the very front, we have a gentleman depicted in a coonskin hat representing the American frontier. Okay, we see a man with the little checkered hat with the ball on top that's traditionally viewed as being a Scotsman. Okay, we see an African American on the opposite of the Scotsman rowing the boat. All right, if we look at the bow, all right, we see an individual depicted in moccasins, a side pouch, and like chaps that would be most notably associated with indigenous people. So this is a Native American. And in the center, okay, we see two gentlemen with broad brimmed hats that would have identified them as farmers. Okay, and at the center of it, okay, obviously we have Washington, okay, and his officer identified by their blue coats, okay. But this is really kind of depicting the broad swath of individuals that were involved in the American Revolution, and that kind of, and I'm going to come into this really gets into the point that Lutz is trying to make with this. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of that real quickly. Okay. Lutz, I'm going to misspell his name again, Leutz, Leu, depicts a variety, way spelled that wrong, of individuals who contributed to the American Revolution, including both African Americans, both and a singular, an African American and indigenous member of the colonial army. Furthermore, he depicts individuals from different regions of the United States, U.S., with a frontiersman at the bow, and farmers, and two farmers huddling for warmth toward behind Washington. All right. Now, the first thing that you guys will notice by my description, I only did two sentences here and get them to shrink that down to 12 point font. All right. I left some things out. Obviously, I left out my Scotsman here. I left out that we're talking about identified from the Washington and his officers here. Okay. And a lot of this stuff, Mr. Bannock and I were asking that you provide a loom with this. That's something that we'll give you some extra points for if you do that. So you might not actually get everything in your description. We're just looking for 2 to 3 sentences, but identifying the specific analysis that leads into this time period. Okay, and I'm going to talk about this here with this is the point of view, and this is the message that he's ultimately trying to convey. All right. Okay. So again, I'm going to Control V, put that in there. All right. The thing that I think that Lutz is really trying to is trying to convey with this, and it's both Germany, where he was studying and where he originated. He moved to the United States when he was 9, and the United States, okay, his adopted home. All right, we're going through a very tumultuous time. All right, okay, so both Lutz's native Germany and Lutz's native Germany and America were in the midst of a tumultuous, I think I used that word earlier, tumultuous. Don't use words you can't spell, Mr. Loyd. That's a lie. You can use words you can't spell. All right, midst of a tumultuous period. In this piece of art, he conveys a feeling of unity that was essential to the victory of the American Revolution. Victory of the U.S., the United States, over Great Britain during the Revolutionary War. And a couple points that I'll say here in my Loom presentation that that I don't really have enough space to put into this particular setting, because again we're looking for 2 to 3 sentences a piece, but these are things that you would include in your presentation. Is really there's a lot of historical inaccuracies in this. Okay, one, the Stars and Stripes that's here that won't be adopted until 1777, so that flag would not have been in use yet. Also, okay, anyone that's been in a canoe, all right, knows that this pose chosen by General Washington is not an ideal one. Okay, you shouldn't stand up in boats. I think that we all know this. All right. Also, a boat this size, there's way too many people in it, and okay, this attack would have taken place at night, okay? And it would have been in a shorter crossing. It would have been probably flat planks, okay? But he is doing this to convey a certain idea, okay? He wants to depict this broad variety of life in one single boat, okay? At this moment of triumph of the American Army. And that is really, although he's conveying this message about the American Revolution in 1776, okay, when this happens, he's really applying this to Germany and the United States in 1851. Okay, as many of you know, that was a time in the U.S. where we were 9 years away from the American Civil War. There was a lot of debate over slave versus free states that was going on. Okay, in Germany, okay, they're still a good 10 years away, a little bit more than that, 15. Mr. Bannock will correct me on that. From their own unification, but they're in this early stages of trying to attempt it. Okay, so he's really kind of trying to convey this moment of triumph and the fact that this happened with all these different people from different walks of life. Okay, again, we have our frontiersmen, we have our Scot, we have our African American, our indigenous individual here, okay, and our farmers. Okay, so people from a wide variety of life that contributed towards this. All right, so that's really what we're looking for out of you guys with this project, and I think that this should be a little bit of fun. All right, remember there's going to be some things that you're not going to be able to fit into here. All right, and I just did this really quickly, but we like you guys, and peace.